in their head coach Larry Bird, who was only the quickest player of his generation. Right now, the Indiana Pacers, they're not listening, and time is very short, Tom.
But we're happy you're working on the mental approach to things.
The last time the Knicks played here in the Garden during their sweep of Atlanta, the fans were chanting, "We want Reggie." Well, shortly they'll get Reggie, who has had some of his very best games here at Madison Square Garden, and maybe the Garden will pop him out of a slump. He's now gone 3.5 quarters without a field goal. Hannah?
Thanks a lot, Tom. Well, Isiah, you've been saying down the stretch of this season, yes, Sprewell and Houston can play together. They did in Game 2 and were quite effective. Would you like to see a lot more of them playing in tandem in this game?
Well, they definitely have to play more together, and here's why. When you have Sprewell and Houston and Camby and Johnson out on the floor together, they create big-time matchup problems for the Pacers. They're able to get out in transition. They're a quick defensive team. You'll see Camby is able to move over and block shots. Dudley punches it out. Now look at the quick four that gets out in transition. They push it up. They got a 4-on-2 fast break. When Sprewell, Houston, and Camby is playing together, they pose so many matchup problems for the Pacers, and the only way that the Knicks are going to be able to score today is in transition. They're not going to be able to rely on their half-court offense because they don't have Patrick Ewing.
But Isiah, the matchups work both, the mismatches work both ways, because if you've got Travis Best and Mark Jackson being guarded by Latrell Sprewell and Allen Houston, well, first of all, there's no point guard out there for the Knicks, so you should be pressing them on defense to some degree.
That's a great point.
Best is a great on-the-ball defender, but also Best and Jackson have to attack those two off the dribble and make them pay. When they did that in Game 2, Van Gundy took one of those off guards out.
Be interesting to see how both coaches approach. We may see a lot of interesting lineups in this game. Indiana head coach Larry Bird won 3 straight MVP awards in the 1980s, and the league announced this year's MVP earlier this week, Utah's Karl Malone. Malone received the award for the 2nd time in 3 years. Commissioner David Stern presented the trophy a short while ago at the NBA store here in Manhattan. I asked Malone what the award means to him.
I think what means more to me than anything other than the championship is getting an award like this, not just for myself and my family, but the whole state and my fans around the country that supported for me. And being 35 years old, and this is supposedly a young guy's sport, because a lot of young guys remind me of that all the time, great pass, old man, and things like that. And to win this award at age 35, I think that when I retire, because I'm still playing the game, I'll look back on this and say that it wasn't just for Karl Malone. It was for the whole state.
Karl, you are the 9th man to win multiple MVP awards. Now, the other 8 have won NBA titles. Do you sense that it's still a distinct possibility, something that you can achieve in your career?
I still feel I have an opportunity to win a championship, and that's why I'm playing the game. But I think the most important thing for me right now is that desire to continue to want to play and work out. If I ever lose the desire to want to play and compete, it don't really matter how much money you're making. It's not really worth it to me in my career, but I want to win a championship, and that's my main goal right now, and I want to win it right where I'm at.
It has been reported that you do have a deal on the table, and you're going to be a free agent for the first time in your career on July 1st. Is it a given that you will be returning to the Utah Jazz?
We have talked about things, but nothing is in stone, so I think when the appropriate time comes, we'll talk about it. But it's kind of amazing because the basketball so-called gods, their sources always tell them that it's a deal is done. So I think we'll sit down. I sit down with my agent, and we'll sit down with the Jazz front office. But I can't see a problem at all. You know, it's amazing. I've wore this 32 with the Jazz forever, and it'll be really hard pressed to get rid of it. That's for sure.
You came into the league with Patrick Ewing. Do you have some empathy for his situation?
Absolutely. I know I played injured before. And I played when maybe I shouldn't have played. I played when Larry Miller told me that maybe I shouldn't have, and it was a game-time decision. And it's nothing like not being able to help your teammates. I feel for Patrick because he's worked his behind off all these years. He's in the same spot that I'm in, trying to win an NBA championship. So to have your career, have your season end in an injury, I think it's very unfortunate. But I don't think you should underestimate those guys, though, because a lot of times they want to win one for the big guy. So we'll see what happens.
Well, we'll see what happens with the Utah Jazz. They have 7 free agents. We'll see what happens with them in the offseason. Karl Malone, one of them for the first time in his career. But it would be a shock if he would go into his 15th NBA season not in a Utah Jazz uniform. Congratulations to Karl Malone, and we'll be right back.
Still to come, we'll get a report on the Western Conference Finals between San Antonio and Portland after the Spurs took a commanding lead by winning on the road last night. And later, we'll hear from the New York Knicks on battling the Pacers without their veteran leader, Patrick Ewing.
Oh. Oh. Oh, baby.
Hey, Mr. Dinky's busy.
Hey, Dinky, I quit.
Oh, no. Oh. Mr. Dinky, I'm not quitting. That was a joke, sir.
You got feet that sweat for a living, and you get athlete's foot. Smart guys know. Comfort comes in yellow. Desinex. Other guys' feet, they just keep itching and burning. But Desinex Comfort is what keeps you going.
Desinex. Its dual-action formula not only gets rid of athlete's foot fungus, it soothes that itching and burning, surrounding your feet with soothing comfort.
Desinex. Soothes while it cures for comfortable feet.
Dad?
You know what time it is?
Dad. Ooh, see, it was a party, you know, and Vicky, you know, Vicky.
Alien abduction shouldn't keep you out past your curfew. Now, this is gonna hurt you more than it's gonna hurt me.
No, Dad.
All beef patty, special sauce. Sing it with me, son.
Lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on the sesame seed bun.
We got some fries, too. Yeah.
Did somebody say McDonald's? Announcing a new way to see, near and far, the way nature intended. The creator of AccuView, the most prescribed contact lens, is introducing the revolutionary AccuView bifocal contact lens. The first with pupil-intelligent design, near and far. Get out of wearing glasses and get into life, both near and far. New AccuView bifocal. It's how you see things. Visit your eye care professional or call us for more information.
NBC Tonight. It's never been seen before. An all-new extraordinary episode of Profiler.
Let him go!
All-new Profiler, NBC Tonight.
NBA Showtime is brought to you by E-Trade, the #1 place to invest online.
It's been an eventful sports day in the New York area. The hometown Yankees and Mets did battle earlier this afternoon at Yankee Stadium, with the Yankees winning for the second day in a row. Less than an hour ago at Belmont Park, the Belmont Stakes, Charismatic pulled up at the wire, thwarted in his bid to win the coveted Triple Crown, as long shot Lemon Drop Kid was the victor. And the nightcap at Madison Square Garden, the Knicks hosting the Indiana Pacers in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Meanwhile, Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals took place last night in Portland. The Trail Blazers and Spurs. It was a 2-point San Antonio lead at the half. Then the Blazers self-destructed. Portland managed just 25 points in the second half and was routed 85-63. San Antonio owns a commanding 3-0 lead in the series. With a report, we go to Bob Costas and Doug Collins.
Hannah, it's becoming very apparent that the San Antonio Spurs are just what they have appeared to be over the past 3 months. The NBA's best team. And part of the reason is there always seems to be someone there to take up the slack.
For us, it's always been somebody different during the year. You know, sometimes Avery is the guy that's knocking everything down. Sometimes it's JJ. Sometimes it's Sean Elliott. Sometimes it's Mario Ellie. I can't say that it's been one guy throughout the year. They've shared it. So as long as one of them's doing it, it's okay, I guess.
Well, in Game 1, Tim Duncan and David Robinson really set the tone for this whole series. 42 points, 23 rebounds, 6 block shots, 6 assists, and they made Portland change their whole defense by going inside and these guys delivering. What they said is, we're going to have to change our defense and get the ball out of their hands. So now they go to Game 2, and they double and triple team Duncan and Robinson. They get only 21 shots at the basket, but Sean Elliott, 6 of 7 three-pointers. We know the emotional game winner that gave them a 2-0 lead in the series. Then in Game 3, you come to Portland, tough on the road team. They go inside to Duncan and Robinson. Once again, the double and triple teaming. David Robinson and Duncan both get in foul trouble. Only 14 field goal attempts. This time, Avery Johnson and Jaren Jackson come through. 13 of 27 from the floor, 6 of 11 from the three-point line. So once again, you see the depth of the Spurs. On a given night, it could be any of 3 guys from the perimeter, and that's what have been the difference in this series. Bob?
Searching for a bright spot for Portland, and boy, you've got to look long and hard. Rasheed Wallace did shoot 7 of 11 and scored 22 points. The rest of the Trailblazers were a putrid 12 for 66. That's 18%.
Well, you know, when we look at Rasheed Wallace, we've talked about the great play that he's had in this series. But, you know, he gets a critical technical foul in the fourth quarter when they've cut it to 14. And then late in the game fouls out and walks off the floor and leaves his team. And, you know, Bob, you got a game 4 here that's got to be played on Sunday afternoon. You got to stay with your team. So with that said, this Portland team, I don't know what to expect from them on Sunday afternoon.
And Hannah, all together now, as we all know, no team has ever come back from an 0-3 deficit to win a playoff series in the history of the NBA.
You know, Bob, we could take that one step further. No one's ever come back from an 0-4 deficit to win either. A lot of people doubted if the Blazers had, or if the Spurs had the perimeter players that were strong enough to lead them to the NBA Finals. They've answered that question, haven't they?
Yes, they have. You know, I remember talking to Jerry West right after the Spurs swept the Lakers, and he was groaning about Jaren Jackson, who had 42 points in 2 consecutive games. And he said, man, I can't believe we got beaten by a guy like this. And Kersey had like 9 points in that 4th game, too. Now what happens? Jaren Jackson, 6 trays in game 3. Game before, Sean Elliott had 6 trays. Mario Elliott and Steve Kerr are renowned for hitting the game-winning 3-pointers. And Avery Johnson has gone from a suspect outside shooter to underrated.
Absolutely. This team no longer underrated. Clearly the best team in the league. Why?
Hannah, this is the best team in basketball, and everyone talks about their offense, but what's getting them there is their defense. They're good enough to shut you down at every position. Robinson can shut you down at the 5 spot. Duncan can shut you down at the 4. Elliott can shut you down at the 3. Ellie can shut you down at the 2. And Avery can shut you down at the 1. So defensively, they're solid. In their last 47 games, the Spurs are 41-6.
And now they are just 1 win away from a trip to their first ever NBA Finals. We'll be right back.
Coming up, New York has lost Patrick Ewing for the rest of the playoffs. How will they make up for his loss? We'll hear from the Knicks next.
Do you know me? Not yet. I'm starting my own business, and that's a little scary. For me, the card is my support system. I rely on it to build my office, fill my closets, buy business lunches, dinners, and when it all gets to be too much, I rely on it to bring me home. It's good to know there's someone there when you need them.
Apply now. Visit AmericanExpress.com.
Here in America, home means different things to different people. But we're pretty much agreed on what it means to own a home. It has something to do with stronger communities, safer streets, better schools, and the hopes and dreams that America was built on. So whatever home means, one thing's certain, it's a lot more than just 4 walls and a roof. For a free guide that can help you on the path to home ownership, call the Fannie Mae Foundation.
My brother's son said he had an idea that would make us rich.
That funny-looking kid said that.
Said we can use the internet.
The internet? We ain't selling books, we're selling feed, and we already sell every ranch in the county.
Arlen, you ever been outside the county?
Does Guam count?
Extreme stress, serial heat. No one can break down a motor oil faster than a police force. That's why police forces around the country use Castrol GTX, the only leading 10W30 that provides maximum protection against both viscosity and thermal breakdown. Because some people have more important things to worry about than motor oil. Castrol GTX, drive hard. And try Castrol Syntec Blend for added synthetic protection.
Sunday at 2 Eastern on NBC, Hoop It Up, the world's largest 3-on-3 basketball tournament. featuring a special coast-to-coast look at this traveling basketball road show. It's the ultimate in street ball. Get ready to hoop it up Sunday at 2 Eastern on NBC Sports.
The second pick in the 1985 NBA draft goes to the Indiana Pacers. We know differently, and here's David Stern with the announcement.
First pick, select Patrick Ewing.
Indiana ended up selecting center Steve Stepanovic from Missouri with that second pick in '85. It wasn't until they drafted Rick Smits 3 years later that the Pacers finally had their dominant big man. The Pacers are hoping Smits, who is also injured, will be able to capitalize on Ewing's absence. Smits fouled out of the first 2 games, averaging just 9 points and 4 rebounds. Though Ewing is unable to help the Knicks on the court, he'll no doubt serve as an inspiration to his teammates.
It is a new injury to the Achilles. Ewing has played his last game of the season.
I was surprised. I was surprised. I was hurt, shocked, all the emotions.
It was kind of tough because, you knew at one point Patrick was going to probably say something to the guys, and it was just one of those moments where you felt bad for him.
He just kept on saying, y'all got to do it. Y'all got to win it for me.
Basically, he just said 2 things. He said, I believe in you, and get me my ring, in so many words.
It breaks my heart in many ways that he's not going to be able to see this thing through to the end.
I really thought the Knicks were going to win this series, and I don't think they're going to win it now.
Obviously, it hurts us, one, having a go-to guy late in the post. He really delivered Miami Game 5, first 2 games against Indiana down the stretch in the post.
You've just kind of created something where we have more of an identity that's not what the Knicks used to be. We can tackle in a little bit different ways than we used to be able to.
This team has been through a lot and is pretty battle-tested, even with Pat going down.
They know what I've been going through for the last 3 months, the pain and, all the things I had to endure to play. So they were part of it. I'm sure they would love for me to be there with them, on the court, but unfortunately I can't.
To me, he's everything a professional athlete should be about. He put it really all on the line this year, where a lot of great players would have sat out because they couldn't play individually as well as they would have hoped to. He went on the floor knowing he wasn't going to be Patrick Ewing, but he knew his presence on the floor helped us win.
I'm going to be there, emotionally, be on the sideline, cursing them out, cheering them on, just doing everything I can do from the sidelines to help them.
The only thing he has missing is a ring, and hopefully we can get it for him this year.
We're going to do what we can to continue on and play well and really honor what he did by getting us this far. His efforts helped us get this far. We're going to try to take another step and win this series.
No more speeches. All the speeches will be already over. It's time for them to step up and get the job done, kick some butt.
In our interview with Patrick Ewing last night, he said something that kind of surprised us. He said, if Knicks management wants to trade me, I guess I'll just have to go along with that. What's he talking about, Peter?
The only one who has initiated trade talk is Patrick Ewing, because every time that Phil Jackson's name has come up as a possible successor to Jeff Van Gundy, Ewing says, I'm out of here, and the team I want to go to is Miami. Obviously, because of all that good blood between Dave Checketts and Pat Riley. But you notice, Hannah, that he hasn't mentioned Miami in quite a while because Checketts has told him to cool it. He did not want to hear that anymore. In fact, he told him if he opened his mouth one more time, he was going to fine Latrell Sprewell $25,000 more. but Hannah, he's not going anywhere. He's totally untradeable. He's going to be 37 in August. He's got 2 years left on his contract, worth $29 million.
You don't want to be Zoe's backup anyway.
Nah.
All right, about the injured Achilles, is this something that, looking back, might have been avoided?
Yeah, it could have been avoided if Patrick Ewing had paid attention to his real career, and that is staying in shape and getting ready for the season. Instead, as president of the Players Association, he spent so much time during the negotiation during that extended lockout, and he just didn't come in shape. And it puts a great strain on those aching knees, and of course, it had to affect the Achilles.
What does all this mean for the Indiana Pacers?
Well, even though the Knicks are at home right now, the Pacers have the momentum with Ewing being out. This frees up Smits right now. He doesn't have to concentrate on defense. Consequently, he won't get in as much foul trouble. And also, he'll be able to take that little outside J and open up things up for Mark Jackson posting down low.
So, in a sense, this places more pressure on the Pacers?
Without a doubt, the pressure is on the Pacers right now. There's no excuse now for losing. You should not lose this series without Ewing playing.
So they have to take advantage, and they have to do it on the road. And there's been a lot of speculation about what effect Ewing's absence will have on this series. In just moments, we'll find out. We're closing in on the tip-off of Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Tom Hammond, Steve Jones, and Bill Walton will have the call. The NBA playoffs continue on NBC after these messages from your local station.